Hey everyone, this is Jason, CNCDXFiles.com, here with another short beginner tutorial on how to convert a horse into a cut-ready DXF file. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to go to File, drop-down menu. We're going to create a new document. Just give your document a name and change the width and the height to 222. That's going to give you the largest artboard possible, the most design space to work off of. And hit OK. So here's our new document. It's opened up. We're going to zoom in a little bit more. Click on this little hand tool and click and drag to the corner, upper left-hand corner. You can really place this image anywhere you want, but I just like to start in the upper left-hand corner. So from this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go File, we're going to go Place, and we're going to go into the beginner horse conversion video and files. And here's the beginner horse image that we're going to use. And double click that, or just click on it and then hit place. That's going to bring it into Adobe Illustrator CS6. And if we go to the window drop down menu, we can go down to transform. Let's see, oh, there it is, transform right there. And it says it's 2 inches wide by 2 inches tall. We want to change that to 10 inches. And make sure this is link looks like this and not like this. If it looks like this, it's going to change it proportionately. If it looks like this and you change the dimensions, it's going to just change it along the height line or the width line. So what we're going to do is, it's already been scaled, so now it's 10 inches wide by 7.5 inches tall approximately. It's been selected, it's highlighted here, so we know it's selected. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to go to the opacity drop down menu, and we can change it down to 60%. That's going to lighten up the color, so when we actually draw our main silhouette around it, it will actually show up. So I'm going to go Object, Lock into Place. When you lock it into place, if you try to select it, draw a bounding box around it, you're not going to be able to select it or remove it. It's locked into place, and that's what you want for the underlying image. So I'm going to zoom in here. Zoom in. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out with the pen tool. Click the pen tool. Go up here to the fill color drop down, and we're going to change it to none. We don't want any fill color in there. So we're going to start out placing a node here. We're going to place a node up around the ears, around the forehead here. Clicking and dragging as we go. Click and drag it into place. This is a fairly simple design, so we're just going to kind of cruise right along here. Try to get it as accurate as you can. Horses and animals and things like that, you want to make sure that you stay very close to the original artwork, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to stay very, very close to it. Just working around the horse quickly here. The pen tool can be a very efficient tool for you once you really put some exercise into it or some practice into it. It's the main tool that I use when I'm creating my artwork with Adobe Illustrator. You can use the space key, hold that in, and it moves the node point around. If you hold the Alt key in, it's going to allow you to swing the tool or the handlebars. Whatever direction you swing the handlebar, that's the direction that the next line is going to go. And so you always move that handlebar down in the direction of the next node point that you're going to place. So you're down and around. The kneecaps here of the horse. And what's nice about this process is at any point along the way you can go in here and you can edit any one of these individual nodes. You can add different nodes in there. You can constrain the angles instead of having, you know, a radius. You can go into, you know, just a more of a sharp angle. So what we're doing is we're just trying to follow as closely as possible, clicking and dragging as we go along the way here. And you know, I go fairly quickly in this program because I've been just doing it for a number of years. So when you do this, it's going to take some time to actually, you know, get really familiarized with where to place these nodes. But it's something that when you do practice it, you will learn the abilities of this Bezier curve technology tool, this pen tool that we have. And what we're doing here is we're actually creating a very complex algorithm of line coordinates along this path. So anywhere you're placing it, it is literally programming information into this line, into this vectorized line, that will be interpreted by your CNC cutting system as a potential cut path. So we'll just keep moving along through here. Click and drag, holding the Alt key to swing that handlebar. Keep going at it. You know, a design like this, if I'm just working on it quickly, you know, it might take me 5-6 minutes to do something simple like this. You know, if you're just starting out, it could take you a half hour, maybe even an hour to really get good at it. But once you do, you'll be off to creating some really neat artwork in a short amount of time. And so learning these design tools and this program is very beneficial when it comes to time and creating artwork efficiently for your CNC cutting system. Most CAM software programs are very cumbersome at creating organic shaped objects for CNC cutting applications. Most CAM programs were never designed for that as the main purpose. So what we're doing here with this graphics design program is something that most CNC cutting systems were never really designed for, and even the CAM programs were not really even designed for this. So I'm just moving along the path, setting node points, you know, holding in the Alt key, constraining those handlebars, and I'm just kind of trying to keep an eye on how wide some of these pieces are. If they're looking too thin, you know, we can always hold this Shift key in and move it out to whatever size we want. But we're just going to zoom back out here, and I'm going to undo that, and we'll just get back on track. Use the hand tool to kind of move back in here, zoom back in. And what we'll do is we'll select the pen tool again, and just click on that last node, and when you hover over it, you'll know it's the last node by the fact that you can click on it here, and it highlights everything. That means it's been connected back up. So click and drag, holding the Alt key, change the handlebars a little bit, the orientation of that handlebar. Make sure that handlebar is pointed down the direction of that next path that you'll be placing in there, or the continuation of your path. So that's what you want to work on, is really constraining this handlebar in that direction. The more accurate you get with it, the less you'll have to manipulate the node points, and the more accurate you'll get with just placing it right on top of that existing artwork that's underneath. So we'll just kind of pull it into place and click on that last node point, and so that finishes up that main silhouette. You know, as you can tell, it went by fairly quickly. We'll zoom in a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to click on it, select it, change the color, and that is going to give us a pretty good representation of what that design is going to look like if you actually cut it with a CNC cutting system. We'll zoom out, and with most artwork, I'll copy and paste the original artwork and create the DXF file off of the copied version. I like to leave this intact in case we have to come back at a later time and utilize it for creating some other artwork. What I'll do is I will select that copied object, that horse there. We'll change the fill color to nothing, 0 fill color. We'll change the line weight to the registration black, and then we'll actually change the stroke weight to 0.001. Hit enter, and so now what we have is the basis for your CNC DXF file. This is what the image should look like. You're going to click and drag around it with the selection tool, or you're just going to click directly on it with the selection tool. And then we're going to go File, Export, and we're going to go Beginner Horse. I'm going to hit Save here, and we've got the AutoCAD Interchange DXF file .dxf selected. This is the one that you want to use. Hit Save, and you're going to get DXF DWG export options. AutoCAD version 2000 is what I like. It's the most universally recognized and stable DXF format that I am aware of. The artwork scale is 1 inches to 1 units. Number of colors is 8. Raster file format, I choose JPEG. You could go PNG on that, but I prefer JPEG. The options here are maximizing editability and export selected artwork only. If you do not select the export selected artwork only, it's going to try to generate a DXF file based off of all the individual components in that document that you've opened and created. So you want to make sure that it's export selected artwork only, and we're going to hit OK, and that's going to generate your DXF file that you can now bring into your CAD or CAM-based program and you can probably clean it up in those programs a little bit more to really streamline it. But this DXF file will be recognized by your CNC cutting software.